Do you have difficulty staying focused at work or at home? Find yourself distracted? Do you start a new video game only to close it out after like 10 to 15 minutes? Do you miss important details? Like you can't remember anything about the quest line you just read about? Or you remember to do like the first and last tasks on your to-do list, but you forget everything in between? Do you avoid difficult tasks that require a lot of concentration or creativity? Are text-heavy games really hard for you to get into? When people talk, do you hear the first few words and then the rest turns into... If you answered like yes to all these, then you and I are probably alike. And you should probably talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor, but my doctor was super helpful in my process of working through adult ADHD. Listen, there's a lot of ways to mitigate ADHD without medication. The Drake Institute of Neurophysical Medicine states, a well-balanced diet, exercise, and meditation are all good options to reduce ADHD symptoms, but they don't address an individual's underlying brain dysregulation. CBT, no, not that. CBT, T as in tongues, cognitive behavioral therapy for ADHD can be an effective adjunctive treatment option for some individuals. But I didn't make this video to talk about ADHD medication or CBT. No, get out of here. I've seen a lot of people who struggle with either picking a game to play or picking a game and sticking with it, or who even have a hard time not buying games on sale because, as you know, the moment you see something you wanted on sale, it's now the most important thing. You must buy it immediately at all costs. I made this video to talk about the anxiety that is driven by ADHD and how I've personally worked through it to find some success in my own gaming backlog. With the help of some really smart and loving people in my own life, I've also found a lot of success in dealing with my own anxiety and also in dealing with ADHD and productivity. As a side note, if you're interested in a video where I walk through some of my personal productivity workflow, let me know in the comments down below. But I recognize ADHD drives a lot of personal frustration, regret, and sadness. Being misrepresented, seen as lazy, flaky, all that stuff, and it sucks. I get it. I hope you find this video helpful, even if you're stuck in a tough place. So here are some general principles I've implemented in my life to help me deal with ADHD and how they fit in with gaming backlogs, because that's kind of the theme here. Lists, lists, lists. Mindfulness, accountability, consistency. So first, lists. The most powerful weapon in the tool belt of an ADHDer is the almighty list.
Make a list.
Do you like making lists? If not, now is the time. Here's a riddle. What's easy to make, changes only when you want it to, and only exists in one place? A list. You can write whatever you want on it. The items on the list are checked off or added as you decide. Instead of having 12,943 lists on 4 different software in 4 different rooms of your home, it's all in one place. A list can be many things. A list of games you want to play before the end of the year, a checklist of achievements in a game you want to complete, maybe a top 10 list of your favorite games you played last year. Do you look at your backlog and get the Netflix effect of too many options? Well, go watch my analysis paralysis and gaming backlogs video and then realize narrowing down a list of 700 games into just 10 games becomes infinitely more manageable, I promise. But Crimbo, how and why would I ever want to limit myself to just 10 games when I have 12,930,000 games to choose from? Does this make you anxious? It used to make me anxious too, but let's deal with it. How, you ask? Mindfulness. Mindfulness can look like deep breathing, prayer, etc., lots of things. But for me, part of being mindful is about taking a deep breath and realizing I don't have to be everything, and I don't have to do everything. Our world is fast-paced. It seems like everyone is a content creator. We watch 50 different 8-second TikTok videos in 5 to 10 minutes. Advertisers are constantly grabbing for your attention. But the nice thing about mindfulness is that you can slow down and really just enjoy the moment. For a gaming backlog, getting paralyzed by a million options can be daunting, and it can fill me with anxiety. With mindfulness, or planning would be another word you could use here, you can realize those games don't all require or deserve your attention. They're just a bunch of code that some people wrote. That's it. Here's what mindfulness looks like for me. So lately, my friends have been really into Squad. It's a tactical, realistic, squad-based shooter with 100 players on a map. It's really fun. The way I used to game was FOMO. My ADHD brain would see my friends online and rush to play with them. I didn't want to miss out. Maybe for you, you play the same game every night and you just do it because it's what you do. I felt bad though because I said I wanted to play my backlog, but I'd pick endless multiplayer games instead and I'd play way too much and it just wasn't good for me. To play with your friends just because is fine, but over time you sort of can get dependent on it and it becomes this unhealthy, unhelpful habit. Instead, I've begun to plan my week, which ultimately helps with mindfulness. When I start the week, I plan it out. You can use a whiteboard, which is what I'm using on screen right here, Google Calendar, spreadsheet, whatever. I run a business, so I put my work deadlines on first. Then I add my personal obligations and meetings. Then I add things I'm excited about. After this, it's good to reflect on your to-dos for the week. This is where the list comes in. I use Todoist to track this, and you can use whatever. Once all the important things are on paper or board, I can start plotting out whatever fun hobby things I want to do this week. I can often forget about my other hobbies outside of video gaming, so doing this helps me to maintain focus and make myself more diverse in what I choose to do with my life. Maybe you are wanting to learn to program, or maybe you're wanting to get into woodworking, but you don't really know how to put the time together. This is how you would do it. For me, I'm going to finish that escape room in a box that I'm excited about, and maybe spend an hour on programming with my 2 free hours on Monday night. Tuesday, I'm busy until pretty late, so I'm probably just going to turn in early and read a book in bed with my wife. I might play squad with friends on Wednesday after a fun date with my wife. Friday night is when I run Dungeons and Dragons, so I'll need a couple hours after my obligations on Thursday night to prepare for that. Then we have the weekend, which for me is mostly chores, home upkeep, projects, the great adult things in life. But because I had such a busy week, I might take some more time to relax and play through the new Solasta DLC that I bought. So all the planning comes together at this point, and in my mind, this results in mindfulness. Again, you might think of the connotations of yoga and things like that, which is great. For me, I'm plotting out everything that matters and filling in the rest of the time with things I want to do or work on. That means throughout the day on Monday, and here comes the mindfulness, I'm excited to actually finish that escape room in a box. I'm not just going to end up mindlessly playing games with my friends, and before you know it, it's midnight and I gotta go sleep and work the next day. Or it means on Tuesday, I'm getting excited to date my wife the following evening. So I'm thinking about ways to show her that I love her, or I'm trying to think of a fun place to take her out to dinner we haven't been to before. And also, if you noticed, I specifically planned to play Solasta on Saturday. I didn't write down play Backlog. I was specific. I picked a game in advance. Obviously, I can change it because I just found out my buddy Ian is home from school, so we could play squad on Saturday. But he said he's busy on Saturday, so I guess that's not going to happen, but you get the idea. So I'm now looking forward to certain events instead of either dreading them or worse, floating through the week like a puppy with its head out a car window. I'm specifically anticipating things, which makes them so worth enjoying once they actually get here. And this is mindfulness, or at least one aspect of it. But it doesn't work so well without accountability. I started a gaming backlog Discord server in 2020 with the goal of providing a refuge from the inundation of gaming sales and AAA new game hype. I wanted to create a place where people could go beyond the typical froth of online comments. Think r/patient gamers, but Discord. This is a place where we have critical, intellectual, dopey, and just random conversations about video gaming and backlogs and other random stuff. People get to talk about games from their childhood, emulated games, their Steam Deck, their giant JRPG backlog, everything. Their really cute cat that looks just like mine. We also host a number of events throughout the year where you are incentivized to beat games in your backlog. I talk about this in a number of other videos on my channel, but the most important thing is being around like-minded people who in many cases, I've realized, are smarter or further along than I am. This community makes for an essential place to find accountability with your gaming backlog. I plug it in every video I make for a reason. It's really encouraging to see someone finally beat a game when they've been stuck on their backlog for months. Or to help someone feel okay with coming to the realization that you're probably not going to beat your entire backlog. And that's okay. It's a place where you can share your anxieties about your backlog and find like-minded people who've been there too. It's a wonderful place that helps to build consistency. We lose to our ADHD when we fail to be consistent, and recognizing this is key to success. You can put all the systems in place, list everything, join the backlog server, but if you aren't consistent, what's the point? I've bounced around a number of productivity systems, but I've always tried my hardest to stick with them consistently. When I'd forget for a few days, I was suddenly back in the same rut I was in before, forgetting important tasks and deadlines, misprioritizing things, seeing myself as a lazy bad friend. These things happen so quickly. This is why consistency is so important to managing ADHD. It doesn't mean you're consistent 100% of the time. And it doesn't mean it's right to beat yourself up when you get busy. And what's the first thing to go out the window? Productivity and the systems you put in place. The anxiety comes very quickly. I get it, I've been there. But it does mean that getting back into your systems quickly is of utmost importance. When you find yourself getting lost or falling off the patterns you've built, take a deep breath, think about how you got stuck, and build a plan to get back on track. So tomorrow morning, you aren't only going to get back into your weekly planning or whatever system you put in place, but you're also going to reward yourself at the end of the week once you've successfully completed another week of planning and being mindful. Maybe your workstation or room have gotten messy. Messiness contributes to a lot of frustration and causes confusion, anxiety, and distraction. A clean room is going to get you halfway there. Learning to balance consistency with the way you work out your ADHD, your gaming backlog, whatever your thing is critical. Now, I've gained a lot of other experience and tips over the years, but this video is already pretty long. So let me know any ADHD management tips you've learned in the comments below, and if you'd like to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.